this afternoon. I'm still betting that the weather is going to cooperate with us tomorrow from at least 9:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. Even though they say there's a 70% chance of rain tomorrow, this means there's a 30% chance that it won't. So being the eternal optimist, I'm assuming that we're going to be in that 30% band here in Marshall, Minnesota. It's pretty good to have all of you on campus. These alumni functions are always enjoyable functions, and it's good to see people come back to campus. I haven't heard a count yet on how many we think are going to be back, but it's probably considerable again. And it's good to have you here. My congratulations to both the Lifetime Award recipients and to those people who are alumni of the association that the alumni are recognizing today. Your honors are well deserved, and we're glad to have you on the campus again. For those of you that haven't heard, the latest data we have shows that Southwest State for the fall has had an increase of freshman enrollment 12%, and head count is up 9% over last year, and the FTE basis, which is what they pay us on, is up 8% over last year, and we all feel pretty good about that, especially when you look at the quality of the incoming freshman class that we've got this year, which I think is one of the best in the history of the institution, at least as far as you can measure it in terms of academic credentials. So it's good to have you on the campus. I'm looking forward tonight to the alumni functions that are going to take place, and Deb, I'll let you get on to the program here, and we'll have fun handing out awards to the people that have earned them. Thank you.
Come forward, please. Professor Gene Rufflinger began working in SSU in 1969 as coordinator of accreditation, which was no easy task back then, I'm sure. He held several other administrative positions until 1973, when she began teaching in the Health and PE department. Through the years, she taught countless students how to stay dry in a canoe, how to find pleasure in outdoor camping trips, and the joys of cross-country skiing. I know that many of her students were grateful for the first sunny and warm days of spring when they were bicycling in the countryside and their counterparts were inside struggling through calc literature. She's unselfishly giving her time to the campus community. She was involved in the Wilderness Encounter program of the 70s. She has served as advisor for non-traditional students and health and PE majors, and she also served on the curriculum committee, the SUPA executive board, the long-range planning committee, and the faculty development committee. She wrote the first grant to establish the wheelchair athletic program at SSU, and she helped develop SSU's Global Studies program and played a principal role in the development of SSU's new Life Scholar program. She's also been involved in numerous off-campus organizations such as Ski for Life, Outward Bound, and the American Red Cross. She was granted faculty emeritus status at graduation this spring. The Alumni Association is aware that we cannot match the great honor that you received, but we want you to know that we are inspired by all of your accomplishments and are proud to recognize you as honorary alum of Southwest State.
I am very honored by this award, and I sincerely thank the Alumni Association. Through my last day of teaching at SSU, I was eager and enthusiastic about the educational process, about knowledge itself, and especially about the students with whom I shared the teaching of the process. It's a very rich experience to pursue. In 1966, after 17 years of teaching at Antioch College in Yellow Springs, Ohio, I fell in love with and married an engineer. Good warning to many friends that educators and engineers are usually a very bad mix. Within 2 years, I found my engineer husband, Randy, who many of you knew would prefer to be an educator. But he thought he needed an engineer's salary to attract an aspiring wife. He often said to me, his humor about that was, well, I was really looking for a blonde with a yacht, but I got a redhead with a canoe, and that's okay. We chose to look for positions in a small town where our son Eric could have safer independence than in the city. We were in Columbus, Ohio. We wanted a place in the North Country, specifically Minnesota, Wisconsin, or Michigan. We wanted to have the seasons of our childhood for our children, and especially winter for its beauty and cross-country skiing. Soon we learned that SSU was looking for an engineer with industrial experience and a coordinator of accreditation with my training and experience. So, in mid-August 1969, we are driving north on 59, which many of you know. We were a bit north of Garvin Park. Eric and I were leading with a van pulling a U-Haul trailer, and Randy was behind us with a moving van. There is a place about 4 miles south of here where there's enough elevation to look down and see Marshall. It's hard to believe there are any contour lines, but you can look down on Marshall. So I pulled off on the burn, and Randy followed, and we all got out. And we gathered there to look with some joy and anticipation, in all honesty, about our new life together, because I was still pretty newly married. We joined our arms together in a circle and started dancing around because our excitement was great. Just as a state trooper went by. Slammed on his brakes, spun around, jumped out of his car, ran to us and said, "What are you doing?" That was hard to explain. Anyway, as I leave SSU, in a less obvious way, lest my actions be alarming again, the three of us once again danced with joy, and now appreciation for what SSU afforded us. Thank you.
Cleet, as he was known on campus, has been a familiar face around the residence hall for 26 years. I was told that he has a wealth of knowledge in regards to what has been done where in the halls over the years. I assume that that's strictly in terms of maintenance, but if we talk to Cleet later, he can probably share a few stories with you. He is perhaps one of the most recognizable voices on campus and can be heard supporting the Mustangs at various events, including football and basketball games and wrestling matches, to name a few. He's literally everywhere on campus, oftentimes driving a Cushman cart, which incidentally sports Mustang decals and bumper stickers, while he tackles such jobs as delivering furniture, moving students into their new home in the halls, or capturing stray snakes, bats, or raccoons, which may have wandered in or have been brought into the hall. All of these things, of course, go well beyond his job description. He's active in his community, serving as an EMT volunteer with the Minnesota Ambulance Squad, as a member of the District 414 School Board for 6 years, and as a board member of the Prairie Home Hospice. In addition, he's a charter member of the Minnesota Lions Club. It's obvious that Cleet Lanners is a valuable member of both the communities in which he lives and works. It's my distinct pleasure to welcome him as honorary alum of the Southwest State University Alumni Association.
Thank you for this honorary lifetime membership. It's an honor for me to accept it. Through the past 26 years, I've been very fortunate to have been employed by the university that we try to provide excellent housing, quality education, and equal rights to all the students. It's always been fun to watch the freshmen as they come in, and 4 years later, they see how they've grown up, or it's changed for during the 4 years later. Sometimes it's hard. I'm thankful for all my supervisors, co-workers, and all the alumni. Together, I feel we have built a very successful university, very exciting and look forward to the future. It's also very nice to recognize all the alumni from different things. This is guys put some nugget on. Thank you very much.
Warren and Ardella Cornstrom have participated in numerous SSU activities throughout the years. Warren was on the original committee which promoted the establishment of a college in Marshall. He has served on the SSU Foundation, including a year as president. He is a charter member of the Mustang Boosters Club and serves on the advisory committee for the Schwann Chair for Free Enterprise. In 1991, he received the Minnesota State University System Distinguished Service Award. Ardella has also been an active SSU supporter. She served on the committee to design a college seal, and she also helped establish the Southwest Minnesota Arts and Humanities Council. Many of the things that Ardella has done have not been advertised in the papers or broadcast on the radio, so let me share with you a few of the following. If there's a grandparents' day in school, you can bet that Ardella will be there. She's played surrogate grandma for some of our own SSU community kids when their own grandparents have been too far away to attend these special days in school. Many new employees of SSU have stayed at the Hotel Cornstrom while searching for permanent housing in town. And as I understand it, she's also pulled a few strings when it comes to finding just the right home for her guests. Lastly, Ardella and Warren have hosted a homecoming parade party for a number of years. Ardella, we want you to know that we've contacted everyone who's a regular attendee and told them just to come on over and make themselves at home. We're doing our best to see that you and Warren are near the beginning of the parade so that you won't miss too much for yourself. We, the Alumni Association, recognize all that you have done for the good of Southwest State University and are proud to count you as an honorary alum.
I don't think anyone expected I'd be the one to say something. Well, we certainly are honored and privileged to receive this award. I think anything we've done is much less significant than the state. In fact, last night we were at family night in the nursing home in Marshall. My mother's a resident there, and we sat at a table with a lady named Denise Ryder, who's 100 years old and 600 months. She's the mother of Carol Marshall. Carol told her today we were getting this award, and he said, "What for?" We didn't have any answer to that. Maybe you were feeling the same way. Somebody mentioned housing. Doug and his family had a serious fire here a few weeks ago, and we had 2 or 3 calls the next day because one week Doug was down there going to be living with us. We haven't moved it yet. Actually, me in particular, I'm pretty selfish with my time. We work really good here, reasonably, and for me, I do pretty much what I want to do. And so if anything that I have done that has benefited from, I have benefited more, and it's benefited my thought. I think we're probably older than anybody else here. We've been around a long time, and we've been around long before SSU. We knew what it was like then, and we know what it's like now, and so we don't take it for granted like I think a lot of people do. We really do appreciate all the benefits and excitement that SSU brings to us, faculty and students, and of course the conference, play, and everything. So we really do appreciate the work. Thank you very much.
I'd like to ask Howard Moore to please come forward. Howard is a former SSU faculty member. And Alicia, would you like to come forward? However you like.
They told me just hold it down to about 45 minutes. You need to go outside for a while. You want to sit down too? Got my back here, folks. I actually typed some stuff up here that I thought I would look at. I know we're going by time, so. Alicia, in case some of you don't know, it was taken on as the holder of the Swan Endowed Care of Free Enterprise. This year, actually, I know this year. I'm going to ask you, my business is fiction. She was hired or interviewed out of well over 100 people, I believe. She came here in '91. Marge Juan, a man I didn't know very well, but I did like him and was pretty secret all the time. So eventually picked Alicia Johnson. She was second holder of the care. I thought she was obviously qualified. But I thought he also had a place in his heart for a girl from South Dakota who grew up in a small town and then managed to get herself a creative writing and literature major and then find something she could do with it. So start working for Cummins Diesel personnel and eventually become the vice president of European operations for the police car division of Cummins Diesel, where she did business in North Africa, Europe, Eastern Europe at the time, and somewhat in the Middle East. And after 5 years there, she applied for, I think, Ted Rasmussen, former history professor, had to apply for the position. And she got it. That was good. It was glad to see her back on my, I should say that Alicia and her family are family friends. We've known Alicia for over 20 years. She was a student of mine. That's why they got me to come up here and introduce her. She took 2 classes from me. I didn't go back to the grade book. I kept some of them. She told me that she got a B+ in one of my classes. And as a gift, I'm going to have that changed. And Phil Daisy, who teaches here, gave me the job of editing a magazine called Crazy Horse, a poetry journal. It's called a quarterly. It will come out 4 times a year. He gave it to me, and I managed to bring it out once in 2 years. So that ended my editorship. Inside here it says, Editor Howard Moore, Assistant Editor Alicia Land, which was her name at the time. She was my assistant editor. Actually, she did all the work on the thing. This is what it looks like. Back in those days, in preparation for these very short remarks, I went to our family album, a photo album, the night before last. I went to the section called 1977-76. And there's Alicia. Alicia appears in our photo album for over 20 years, really. There's a picture of her with our daughter. And that leads me to one more story. She was the first person that we let our daughter Susan stay overnight with us when we went to concert. We drove down to Yankton where she was living. We gave Susan to Alicia, and we drove on down to Omaha for a Waylon Jennings concert. I was listening to Waylon Jennings last night, a new album. Kind of get into the spirit. So, Alicia was a poet, creative writer, and I picked out from poets of southwestern Minnesota. It came out in 1977. One of her poems to read to you. And then I think I'll be able to conclude. It's called Country Wedding. The wheat rises into wedding bread mothers have kneaded for years, and the farmers are happy with their harvest. Watching the couple dance, the old men with their pipes talk of spring and blow white fries to each other. Seeds which the children chase and loosen wood. There's another one in here, but I'm going to let that one go. It's pretty good. She started out as a creative writer. She's working on a collection after she graduated. When students come to me, and I did teach here last year one third time, come to me and say, well, what can I do with a creative writing literature major? I say, I give them some suggestions, and the religions around it, they wanted to go talk to religions, still have some ideas for you. I could add a whole bunch more things here, tell you what else we've been doing since she left here, besides the ones out here. I could do a little blurb. I wouldn't do that for her inn down in Tyler, beautiful village of Tyler, but Beth Inn. And to get your reservation early, it's very nice, it has great reviews. Is there anything else? Could you possibly stand up now? Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. And thanks for not reading that second poem. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thanks very much, particularly to the English department, who have mostly, all of them, have been friends for 20 years. It was that kind of institution back in the early 1970s when the faculty were so young at that time that there wasn't much to distinguish the students from the faculty, with the exception of the degrees that they had earned. So thanks very much to the English department and to Howard and Phil Daisy in particular, who were very good, strong mentors to that South Dakota kid, brought me through and showed me the wonder and the excitement and the beauty of contemporary American literature. Thanks also to the entire Faculty Association for bestowing this honor. I'm very proud of it. I'm proud to share it with my family as well. I would also like to, in accepting this, honor the person that was very important to me during my time at SSU. Many of you knew him. So in honor of Daniel John Lanning, I would like to accept this. He was my husband, he was my study partner, he was my good friend during those years. He died 7 years after graduating from this university. If he were alive, I'm quite sure he would have already gotten an award for outstanding achievement in teaching. I've met many students at SSU in the past 5 years who are here because of him from the little town over east of here in New Ulm, who taught junior high. So he had a lasting effect on SSU. During our time here, our experience was one of wonderful enlightenment, political awareness that has served me well throughout my life, and also love of learning. I think the people that I worked with during those days were so alive with learning, so interested in learning, that rubbed off permanently. That I know was a major shift for my life. I always loved learning, but I never knew what it was to really love learning and commit to it my entire life. The people at SSU taught me that skill, and I take joy in it every day. So I thank you. I thank Dan for this, and I thank Jim, my husband right now, for being with me all those years at convention when I was gone most of the time, and supporting me and raising our 2 children. We enjoy living here in Marshall, being associated with SSU. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce you Lauren Testall, former SSU professor, and Blanche Bailey. Blanche is the mother-in-law of Derek Van Wall, who could not be here with us today, and so she's going to accept the award for him.
Don't be frightened, these notes are made to keep me from wandering off on tangents. That's difficult for especially professors, you know, who don't have the same opportunity to speak to large groups of people after they're retired, so I have to refrain myself. But I'm very pleased to be here to talk to you about my former student and our former student, Mr. Van Wall. She said here he couldn't be with us today. His father was visiting from consulting. Dirk teaches at Dartmouth College in Hampshire. Which is a distinguished liberal arts college. Since Dirk isn't here, I can feel free to say anything I want about him. He can't defend himself, at least not until later 20 years from now. Seriously, though, I'm greatly impressed with Dirk's achievements. I have to admit that I'm jealous of a number of articles and books. We're both in the same general field of interest, the Middle East. And I do see Dirk occasionally at meetings of the Middle Studies Association. The one this year in November is going to be in Providence, Island. I'm sure that dear Dirk will be there and we want to go. Some of you may remember Dirk's appearance on national television and radio as an expert consultant on Libya at the time that Libya was very much in the top of the news in the country. And there were very few Americans who had real expertise. One of the reasons that Dirk was one of those, other than the fact that trying to scholar and writer, that he speaks both French and Arabic, which we need in North African countries. And furthermore, he has a Belgian passport, so he didn't have to try to get into Libya on an American passport, which wouldn't work at that time. He first came to Minnesota as an exchange student in the little town of Russell, and rather liked southwestern Minnesota. He even found quite a few people around here who had ancestors in Belgium, and even some who spoke the same Flemish dialect as Dirk spoke. So it made him feel very much at home, and maybe that was one of the reasons he decided to come back and do his undergraduate studies here at Southwest State. Dirk is fluent in several languages besides French, German, Italian, and Arabic. I can testify Arabic is not an easy language. And of course English. In fact, his writing in English was so good that perhaps this is justified. I used him as an example to other students, saying, you know, I've had quite a time going over your papers with a little pencil, and there's a lot of things that could have been improved here, but you know, we have a student here from a country where English isn't the main language, and yet he writes better than many Minnesota students do. Now, I hope Dirk didn't have dire reactions from that. At least he didn't tell me so. If he had lost him, after graduation here and after filling out lots of forms and getting letters of recommendation, he was admitted to graduate study at Columbia University, one of the few best schools in the country in the field in which he was interested, international field. He earned his master's and his doctorate degrees there, specializing in political and economic development, especially in the Middle East. In the years 86 to 88, he did research in Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, and Morocco as a resident, supported by a fellowship from the Institute of Parental Affairs. Part of the job was to send back periodic reports to the countries, and these reports were distributed by the Institute around to the leading universities all over the country. His reports were very well written. I read several of them. In addition to his present position teaching in the Faculty of Art and Science, he has taught at Columbia, City University of New York, and Fordham University. So finally, I just want to say a brief word about the numerous international students at American colleges and universities and the role that they play. In my experience here at Southwood State, I was for a time an advisor to international students, and my later teaching as an adjunct lecturer at the University of Minnesota, where there are many students from the party, I couldn't help but notice the seriousness and the hard work of these students generally. The first year is problems, language, different culture, different higher education. And yet I guess there are a few Americans who resent the presence of large numbers of students. They see them as somehow exploiters of American generosity, who sometimes display American-born students and who only benefit without contributing to this country. Well, those aren't that. But it's attitude comes from people who don't see the picture. Right at the moment, I think of Dr. Debeki, who's in Moscow advising President Yeltsin's opposition on his partisanship. Debeki is the Americanized version of an Arabic name. I think I can pronounce it correctly, Debeki. He came to this country to benefit from medical education here. He has improved and individualized hundreds of these patients with his surgical expertise, including one. Many of our hospitals, those urban and rural, are kept in operation in this country with the help of Asian doctors, nurses. A friend of mine had surgery at the Worthington Hospital a couple of years ago by a doctor in So many of our international students after graduation and the benefits of American education then contribute to this country in very important ways. Dirk Van der Waal is an example. Few Americans are fluent in both French and Arabic, as I mentioned. Things unique to research in North Africa. I learned that by going to a small group of students in Morocco for 3 months. I was sitting and listening most of the time because most of the conversations among individuals were carried on in French. As for benefits funding, I want to mention that among the most important benefits that are received in the educated in Southwest Minnesota was that we found here a Marshall student to whom we was attracted. And later, in New York, when they were both in New York City, she studied medicine at Columbia University. She's married. Her name was Joan Bailey. She's also the daughter of Blanche Bailey, who is next to you now, and who, in her absence, will receive the award. Thank you.
I would first of all like to thank the Alumni Council at Southwest State University for honoring me with this award. I am saddened and apologize for the fact that I cannot personally attend the ceremony in order to share with you my gratitude for the honor. Although it is almost 20 years ago that I left Southwest State University and have traveled both physically and intellectually far beyond those initial pursuits that I cultivated at SSU. Undergraduate education is where groups of later intellectual curiosity originate. And I was blessed at SSU with a wonderful set of professors that instilled in me the desire to excel at the academic pursuits I engaged in beyond my years in Marshall. Although I cannot mention everyone in these few sentences, I must thank particularly Professors Lawrence Hesdell and Hugh Kirtler, who chaired philosophy and political science departments during my stay at SSU, and Professor Bill Hunt, all in their own way and through their own enthusiasm for intellectual issues propelled me on that road where those intellectual issues and concerns formed the backbone of my own professional life. They were wonderful teachers, concerned and committed in ways I've always attempted to imitate in my own academic career. I also owe a very special thanks to Professor Jean Resslinger, whose own enthusiasm, integrity, and deep concerns, both for her students and for the natural world all around us, provided deep and lasting appreciation, not only for that world, but also for those personal traits that make individuals both human and unique. As Dean retired from SSU, I can only reiterate how much her example and convictions reverberated within me throughout my stay in Marshall and far beyond. I am honored to have been nominated and chosen for this award, and wish all the best to the entire SSU community on this special weekend.
Roger Reedy would come forward. Roger is a longtime faculty here at Southwest State University. You want her to sit? Okay.
Yeah, Deb, I thought this was a rose. I prepared mine for a rose. But anyway, it's my pleasure to introduce a former student and a good friend who's attained such success and recognition in such a short period of time. Sarah is one of the few members of our former geology department who regularly keeps in touch with us, and so we know and we're able to follow her and her professional growth and her accomplishments. And it usually is to some degree of excitement that sort of follows Sarah along. Sarah was a student assistant of mine and for the department for many years. And she worked in just about every phase of geology you can imagine, and also planetarian. She was a planetarian assistant. She worked in the Natural History Museum, the biology department. Actually took it over for 2 straight years. She assisted Jean Resslinger, and she's been involved in a lot of things too. She assisted Jean Resslinger in her activity class, assisted Frank Sturkey in scuba diving. She provided popcorn for the entire biology or space science department for several years. So Sarah's personality seems to carry on a sort of an effervescence as you see her on for quite a while. She has added a new degree of excitement to the geology trips. She did add. During her days at SSU, she had a feeling of indestructibility, and she still has. Which made some of us a bit nervous, Mr. King and myself, two of us especially. To make a long list of stories short, Sarah usually came back with some sort of remembrance from our field trips. Remembers like sprained ankle, dislocated shoulder, stretched muscle, dislocated things like that she always brought back with us. Of course, it was always done in the degree of studying geology. Her enthusiasm was tremendous. She felt it necessary to do anything to attain her goals. Even if it was sliding down a sheer sandstone cliff to get the samples she wanted. She was never outdone with any male member of the trip, never.
She provided a good sense of friendly competition, a high degree of enthusiasm for geology, and of course, a unique degree of anticipated excitement all the time for all of us. Her presence was always a pleasure, actually, very pleasant. She was usually the first to climb up the mountain, first down the valley, first to a rock out across, and then that characteristic call I always dreaded. "Hey, boss, come and see what we got up here!" So then that means I have to climb up there as well. After SSU, she went on to obtain a master's degree at the University of Memphis in outdoor recreation and park management. She stayed on to get another master's degree in environmental science the first time. She has presently completed all her coursework for a PhD at the University of Illinois. During her free time, she worked for the National Park Service, and just about every phase you could think of, as a tour guide, as a campground attendant, as a naturalist interpreter, law enforcement, and park emergency services ranger. And she has some very interesting, exciting stories about what's going on in the park. She has worked in many of the beautiful parks in the United States: Yellowstone, Glacier, Devil's Tower, just some of them, Everglades, and maybe a few more. I don't remember if there were any more or not. She is always active, always active. Right now, she is a power walker, she's a jogger, she's a mountain climber, she's a scuba diver, she trains dogs, and keep on going. Today she told me 2 or 3 other things she started with. Anyway, at present she is working for the United States Corps of Engineers. She's a construction engineering research laboratory, and she's a research environmental geomorphologist, responsible for land rehabilitation and maintenance of new projects for military installations across the nation. She has also been an environmental protection specialist responsible for natural resource management, environmental protection, and hazardous material and waste management across the Eastern United States. There's a story about her coming into one military establishment. She went into a hazardous waste unit. She noticed that there were 2 chemicals side by side which were sealed, but if they would have broken, it would cause a tremendous explosion. She then took charge, kicking everybody out of the building. One young man came, well, maybe not so young, came into the city. She told him in no uncertain terms where he had to go. Happened to be the basic military commander. He turned around, knew exactly what his duty was, and left. Never keep on this out later on. She's also has worked as an environmental specialist for the Department of Defense. She's been involved with geomorphic interpretation of critically sensitive global satellite imagery and the production of topographic maps and compilation of maps. All of this with the newest state of art of technology, and she never forgets to remind us about her technology compared to ours. All right. There are so many things I could go on about. She has many papers and makes many presentations, and has come to us from a presentation, and where was it? North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina. For that, you can see why we have taught her and why we have given her this award. However, there's one story I believe that indicates the kind of take charge person she really is. In the late 1980s, while videotaping an Army training activity in South Carolina on a nice, hot, humid July day, her emergency medical training became very, very important. As she was videotaping, she recognized a serious heat stroke problem with 2 young soldiers returning from training exercise. She stepped in immediately, provided the emergency medical service that was required, and probably was responsible for saving the lives of not just one, but probably several soldiers, young soldiers who were in the training area. And so her immediate reaction probably saved the lives of many people. For this service, she received the Commander's Award for Civilian Service from the President of the United States via the Pentagon. I have many more interesting stories and exciting stories I could tell about Sarah. I could be told about this confident young woman. But I think think you have a picture of why we here at Southwest State University are very proud. And it gives me great pleasure to present former students and a very close friend, Sir White.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank everyone for this award. I'm very pleased to come back to Minnesota to accept it, particularly since I was in Hurricane Ravaged Raleigh just 2 days ago. I have, over the years, sitting there speaking in excuse I can't come back and do this for harassment purposes. I'm sitting here in the front row, and other gentlemen in the back bringing that. I really do appreciate this award, but I'd like to turn the attention and focus on the three people who have to be present here in the room who really deserve all the honor. Eight people who have done my adult life. Three, my mentor, geology and sciences, who drove me later. Dale Sparling, sitting in the back. I cannot sit down and computer develop any form of research paper, technical manual, or book without feeling him looking over my shoulder. What is complexity? Shorten it. And the body, shorten it. Yeah, okay. I've been doing that for 20 years. Thank you very much. And of course, the woman president who has been my inspiration for the majority of my adult life, you know her. Thank you very much. What a role model. We're now 12 minutes over. I'm out of here.
I want to thank everyone for coming today. After hearing the stories of everyone that we've honored today, I only wish some of our new students or some of our prospective students could hear these stories and say, hey, that could be me, because all of these people were like them at one time. Someone from South Dakota, a kid from a small Minnesota town, and so these are the kind of stories that we need to be out there telling our students. Thank you again for coming. We hope that everyone will be around for the weekend to enjoy all the homecoming activities. I think it's raining now, so it can be done tomorrow. We got it. That's it. All right, thank you.